Hello and welcome back to South County Stocks. In today's video, guys, I'm going to be teaching you how to get levels for entries and exits for options, how to chart the levels, how to set yourself up for a successful day in trading an options trade. In the previous video I made about options, it was all about the watch list, how to put together the stocks that you're going to be trading for the next day. Now, I did talk about it being possibly earnings. It could be levels, it could be news based, it could be pattern based, right? There are many things that could actually help a stock be volatile the next day and go up, either up or down, depending on the direction or the news. So with that being said, if you haven't watched that video, you can watch it. I'll link it in the description below. But for today, we're going to talk about levels and how to get your chart looking like this, so that you have some clear indicators. As for me, I use the yellow line for entries for calls, the red line for puts, but you're going to have a game plan on what you're going to be doing for the next day. So this is Oxy. The news about it was that Warren Buffett, in addition to institutional investors, big money is buying up Oxy stock, right? They're buying up big chunks of the company in anticipation for what could be higher oil prices for a long period of time as the war goes on. So we're not going to get too much into the details of the news. This is what you do when you're researching. You write down the news, you get the stocks. But now that we have a stock, right, you want it to look like this on the daily chart. All right, so this is giving me a full enough plan. I see a bullish pennant. I see the actual resistance line right here. I see the support line of the pattern that we're watching, the bullish pennant. I did see a somewhat of a bullish flag here, right? It's not straight up. It did go in sideways, but it did consolidate just like a bullish flag would. We marked that out, right? I have my support and my resistance levels in key areas that previously the stock either used as support and would not go under, or used as resistance and would not break above. All right, guys, so I'm going to delete all that and I'm going to show you guys how I did this so you can have the same thing. And you can do this in many stocks, and all stocks almost, right? You can just continue to chart those levels once. Of course, I didn't do this all in one day. This is a cumulative action of, as the stock was to reach certain prices, I was actually charting those levels, right? So I'll show you guys how I do it from start to finish. This won't take long, right? Maybe another 5 or 10 minutes max. So we'll start with deleting everything on the screen. And the first thing I want to do is I want to mark out the biggest resistance area that I'm seeing, an area that was not broken before, and then the biggest support area, and it has to be within the trading range that I have. So I actually do those in purple, and I'll go ahead and change the colors to purple. All right, the next thing, and this is on the daily time frame, by the way. The next thing I want to do is I want to get clear areas of support, and I'll put those in orange. And then we'll get clear areas of resistance, right? So if I do see a gap, things like that, I'll mark them. So I have here a drop that happened from this day to that day. There was a drop in the open. So what I'll do is I'll mark that level, and it's the same level on the day before. I'll go ahead and add that one. Then I'll add those over here since they're very close to each other. It looks like 58.30, so I'll make it 58.25, right? I'll always go for either a full number or like an even number, a whole number, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, or just even. All right, here we go. Now that I did that, I still see areas that I'm not going to be able to chart just yet. So what I'll go and do is hit the history, zoom back out, find the same range, right? Because I got the purple lines that lets me know what's the range. And then here we go. I'm able to see some more action that took place historically when the stock hit that price. So twice, right? We have it 2 times. One resistance over here and one resistance over here. Same area. So we got to respect it. We'll add that one. And then we'll just look within what took place, right? And now we're on the daily time frame still. We're going to be switching on in just a second. Okay, I kind of have this area right here where it bounced up, went back up, but it's too close between these two. All right, and let's see. All right, here's a resistance right here that we can add. It's not big, but it's definitely there. Just so we're aware of everything going on, right? If it breaks through, perfect, but we do know that this is a resistance area. Could be turned into support at the 55 level. So 55 is going to be a key level. All right, and we do have one here. We don't have one right above it, and it looks like a nice support area. So what I'll do is I'll just add one more support on this area, and now I'm able to go back out, and now we'll do the 4 hour. All right, so let me go back to the front, Just make sure I got everything. All right, and I'll tell you guys what I'm looking for in just a second, but the main idea is that you want to find an area that is a resistance turned into support, right? So this is a strong support. It's turned into resistance right over here and almost right over here, right? And right now we're approaching that level. So this is an area where if it opens above, you know, it's gonna give me an indicator that I need to wait for the next support, resistance, I'm sorry, it looks like right here, and then support almost over here. Or I'm gonna have to wait for the next level, right? So this is just giving you an idea where you'll start. You'll start with the 5 minutes, but for now we're just gonna go back just on the 4-hour chart to that other area that we needed to check. All right, so here we go. Let me zoom back out. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the same time the stock traded at those ranges. So here we go. We'll just keep zooming. And on the 4-hour, you know, it takes a little bit longer. But you know, these are going to be there forever as long as you don't delete them, right? So as long as the chart moves away from that area, you're going to be able to use the same support and resistance levels just based on where it closes the day before. All right, so I'll fix that one up. And here we go. We'll start looking at the 4-hour a little bit closer. All right, we resisted at this area, 54, so we got that one. Support around this area, we got it. Breaks down, that's under our range, no problem. Above, kind of resistant right above that one. Okay, but this is in play right here. That's a resistance and that's a resistance. Bring this down just a tad bit. And it looks like it's going to be 75, 52.75. It's 79, but it's hard to make it perfect. All right. And then just looking back, and we got some more action right over here. So the strong support is there. It was broken before, but we're not going to mark that because as of recent, it hasn't been. So we're going to keep that area for now. We don't have to chart under. And then it goes up. This is the resistance. That's the support, resistance. And then we had a crazy gap up day here, but it came right back down. So we're not going to actually mark that one. All right. And kind of got an area right here that if I were just to move this just a tad bit, and that'll be at 53.25. Okay, and then it looks good. We got 54.50 here, but we do have 54, so that's good. All right, and then we have a gap down here from this resistance level that I'm talking about all the way to this level, which is good. All right, so now that I'm all charted up, what I'll do is I'll just go to the front. Here's what my 5 minutes looks like, right? So when I'm trading, and this is the stock in the pre-market, and I would tag a level, I would say below 57.50 with a confirmation, right? With a one full bar opening below the actual level. This would be the area, right? Where it started about. It went down. Here we go. Continued dropping. It's got some supports in the middle, but overall the trend went from this level to this level, right? Where it held, and now that's where we're at today. So this just gives us an idea of how we want to trade the stock, right? I got my 59.75. This is a strong level. It hasn't been broken. And I would be looking at this level right here for the next leg down. And now here's something that you need to notice is that here's a support and it was a resistance before, right? So it's a resistance turned into support. I look for those. Those are like key areas, because if you break that, then that's an area that wasn't broken before. Then I'm thinking, all right, this is going to continue going in that direction. Now I don't need to be charting anymore. If I see something like real clear, like this one right here, another resistance, support turned into resistance right over here. It's got this level, it's got that level, and that over there. So that's a good one. And now finally, for entries and exits, I'm looking at Oxy. I got my levels. Now, some people like to post their levels right when the market closes when it's based on this. But what I do is I'm going to wait for the morning about 30 minutes before open, maybe 45 minutes. And what I'll do is I'll actually look at where it's at. If it's above this level, right, I'll wait for it to break it, for me to get puts under. And I would get calls above this level right here, which is a it's a support right here. And if it were to turn into a resistance, it would happen right here. If not, it would continue and maybe it would test that area, right? So this would be my yellow and this is my range, right? However, it could also apply for the same thing if it opened still within this range. And in that instance, I'm simply gonna fix my levels, my entry to the lower two levels, right? Because I have these areas marked out historically speaking. Now, not every single time will be correct. However, majority of the time, it's gonna go your way. If for some reason the level was actually a support level and it didn't hold through and you took puts, you're always gotta wait for that 1 bar confirmation under. If you get it ripping way down, you can try to chase it, but it's better to have it actually work to break that resistance. So for example, if it were to go down to right here, and then instead of, and where did this come from? Right over here. I can't believe I keep doing that. Sorry guys. Okay. And I don't think that came from right there. Although this is a good level right there. Boom. Multiple supports. Alright, it was meant to be. And this one, I'm guessing, was from this area right over here. Alright, and now we double check just to see. Yep, resisted around this area. It broke. This is a strong support. This is a very strong support. 3 times almost, right? Once here, twice here, 3 times here. It finally broke it. It went right back above. And then now it's back under and using this level. So for this level to be broken, this level held the entire day's drop. It stopped it right there, even though it was at the close. Now we're consolidating in this area. If we open, we're going to be looking at these 2 levels for sure. Although this could be a strong support level too. Depends on how close it opens, right? It could be an even closer play of 56.50 for the calls. And then it looks like 56.18 or 20. So what I would do is I'm going to bring it down just a tad bit. Yep, and there we go. We got that level right here, almost at 56. Looks like 56.16. Okay, so 56.15. I know I said that it's better to have whole numbers, full numbers, but sometimes you got to respect where the support or the resistance is, right? So that just helps. If you're like at 74, you can move it to 75. If you're 80, you can bring it down to 75. If you're 95, bring it up to that 0, right? So just use that as you see fit, but this is it. This would be my Oxy play. I would focus on above 56.50 for calls and below 56.15 for puts. And it's not just because these are the closest 2 levels, right? I'm looking at strong support levels. So sometimes the strong support level will not be real close like it is now. Instead, it'll be 1 above it. So you'll just have to wait. And you'll say, okay, this is my level instead. All right, guys. This is my Oxy video. Now what I'll do is just real quick. I'll go back to the daily chart. And I'm going to be drawing out what pattern I think is happening, right? So I'll take that high. I'll close it out based on history. And there are many different patterns, right? It doesn't have to always be a pennant. It could be a symmetrical triangle. It can be a bear flag, it can be a bull flag. But we're going to get some just key levels here. Here we go. And of course, you guys see that one. This was from a previous trading day, but I detected an ascending pattern. I may have pushed it out way too far. Come on, Weevil. All right, here we go. Got the pattern. The top, and then we got ourselves what looks like a potential flag. All right, and so this is it. You continue to see patterns. You could have seen the same thing here, a little mini flag. You see a pennant right now. So now this has to come into play for when you're making your decision, right? So now that I see that there's a pattern, I know that when I enter a call at 56.50, that this level at 57, about 57.75, maybe a little bit under, or a little bit, yeah, between 57.50 and 57.75. So that's going to give me like about a $1 move before I deal with this resistance, right? It's very clear. So if the pre-market were to open closer, like to this resistance, then I would just wait and I would mark my puts actually this area, because I'm going to wait for it to hit the resistance. Either it breaks above and I don't take puts, or it breaks back down and it's going to be a nice little ride. So let's just say one day it opened where we had to actually ride it up, right? It opened closer to this level. We took the call because it broke above. We reached this level. We took our profits. We're good to go, right? And then it closes around that level. The next day, I'm going to be looking at that level to be broken back down for puts. Or if it breaks above, then it's going to be this level right here, which would give me enough time to break the trend line, consolidate, and then go back up and still have that level as a call be a good one, right? And it could resist at 59.60, of course. That's why I have the next big resistance in the way. Same thing here is if we open closer to there and it breaks at the put side, then what I would do, oh wait, that should be orange. And now this is the setup. Assuming, of course, that we did open very close to this 57.50 to 57.75 level. Then I would wait to break above the trend line for calls, or below the trend line, resist at this area, and then come back down, which could give us a bigger range to drop all the way from 57.50 to 53.75, right? So this is where the patterns come into play, but you're not going to know the levels. So the patterns will be good, but you need to still have support and resistance levels, right? You're not going to know what's going to happen right after you break unless you have some levels. Some people will enter right at the break, not knowing that this could be a resistance. And they entered right at the break, and then they get stuck right here, and it comes right back down, right? So this has to be taken into consideration. The pattern is there. The actual support and resistance levels are there. At this instance, this is resistance, a break above pattern, and a break above the actual resistance, and you got yourself very strong upside, a lot of conviction to take the trade. Of course, if it fails, you're dealing with 10-15% negative. You get out if it's going the wrong way. If it's going the right way, ride the profits. Preferably buy more than one contract, buy 3, 5, maybe use up 20-25% of available cash and keep the rest for other trades, right? And if you're down 15, 10, 20%, right, get out. But it has to be going in the wrong direction, right? It can't just be consolidating, still above support, but you're like, I'm out. That's why you can't just base it on percentages. You have to base it on the setup. What was I aiming to accomplish when I bought this call? All right, and let me just try to zoom in a little bit more on this one. All right, there's always the goal. Let's just say I broke above 58.25. I have a candle, it's closed right above 58.30. I got a candle opening at 58.30. I'm going long with it. Instead, it goes back inside and under. All right, I'm holding. I'm waiting to see if the support holds through. It breaks under 58.25. I'm waiting. It breaks below this 57 or 58 level, which is the trend line pattern. Okay, this isn't my trade. Or if it uses it as support, bounces back up, all right, maybe still my trade, right? If it continues to go up right as soon as you get the call, perfect. Once you get to this area and it starts to consolidate, maybe sell half or sell a quarter of your position, depending on risk tolerance. When you get to this area, expect resistance, right? Take more profits, maybe keep a tiny bit. If it comes back down to this level, it could be support again for another attempt. Most likely it won't be. It would be this level. You take your profits and you get out, and then you can take another trade since you only traded with 25% of your position or your available cash. So, right, be professional with it, right? Take your time. You can do this once, and now every time I'm trading Oxy, maybe it opens here tomorrow, maybe it opens here, maybe it opens here, right? I got the setup is there, the plan is there. You don't have to do this every single day. Like, I will just continue to try to just do this to as many stocks that you like to trade as possible. Do it maybe the day before, but just always be ready to change the call and put option depending on where the pre-market opens, okay? So this pre-market will tell us tomorrow a lot about where we're going to be opening our position. If it bounces up right here, this could be, last example, guys, this could be just like that. This is an entry for puts, and this is an entry for calls. Calls would be above 56.50, puts would be above 56.15. And here's the thing is the stock actually does not break, and instead it uses this area as support, right? And now it's climbing back up. Now, do I have to wait to get to this level to open my calls? No. If you want to take a little bit more chance with your position, what you can do is, if this level, let's just say it doesn't even break under, right? It doesn't test under and then it comes back over. It just simply says no. The price is not getting any lower than that, and it bounces back up. All right, now you can take the position going up. Of course, if it breaks back down under this line, then close out that put and turn it in, or close out that call and turn it into a put and ride the put down, right? And I doubt it's going to just be choppy right on the support resistance levels at all. It's just going to break and pick a direction under, or it's going to break, come back, and say, nope, I'm going back to the other support or resistance. Excuse me. All right, guys, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave it in the comment below. If you want to sign up for South County Stocks community, where we have many, many lessons for you guys, links below. If you have any questions, anything at all you want to talk about, just DM me or leave it in the comments. Other than that, thank you guys for watching. Hope this was informative, and take care.